Now let's just move on further towards the question number 2, which says that the record of a weather station shows that out of the past 250 consecutive days, its weather forecast were correct 175 times. So it means the weather forecast was not correct 250 minus 175 times. And further it says, what is the probability that on a given day it was correct? And the second one is, what is the probability that it was not correct on a given day? So let's just find the probabilities of each and every part. So first of all, we know that the number of the times the record was available of the weather station, the number of the times record was available is nothing but 250 times, as the number of the times record was available, or the weather station record is available to us, is nothing but 250 consecutive days. And further it says that we have to find out the probability that on a given day it was correct. So first of all, let us suppose if I am taking let E1 be an event, let E1 be the event that on the given day the weather forecast was correct, and E2 represents, and E2 be the event that it was not correct. It was not correct at all. So first of all, we know that the weather forecast were correct. How many times? 175 times. So the weather forecast was correct 175 times. So how many times it is incorrect? It implies weather forecast was incorrect or not correct is equal to total is 250 minus of 175 times. So 250 was the total times when the record was available, minus 175, that was the time when the weather forecast was correct. So incorrect or incorrect means 150 minus 175, which is nothing but is equal to 75. So let's just find out the probability of all of these. So first of all, for the very first part, we have the probability of getting E1, that when we are talking about the weather forecast being correct, so it is nothing but is equal to the number of the days when the forecast was correct, divided by the total number of days when it was available. So this is nothing but is equal to the number of the days when the forecast was correct. The number of the days when the forecast was correct is nothing but 175, and divided by the total number of the days. The total number of the days are nothing but 250. So when you'll solve it up, you will get the answer as nothing but equivalent to 0.7. Let us suppose if I am taking an approx value over here, so this would be nothing but 0.7. And further, for the second part, we have probability of E2, which is nothing but is equal to the number of days when the forecast was incorrect or not correct, divided by the total number of days when it was available to us. It is nothing but is equal to, incorrect means 75 divided by 250, and when we'll solve it up, we'll get the answer as nothing but 0.3. This would be nothing but 0.3, and hence at the end we get the probability of E1 as nothing but 0.7, probability of E2 as nothing but 0.3. And important thing that when we will add these two probabilities, let us suppose if I'll write it over here, when we will add these two probabilities, probability of E1 plus of probability of E2, this will result in 0.7 plus 0.3, which is nothing but 1.0, which is definitely again 1. So this is all about the answer for this particular question, that the probability of getting the weather forecast being correct on the day is nothing but 0.7, and the probability of getting it not correct is nothing but is equal to 0.3.